Hey there, it's John from Tiny, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up TinyMCE's DMS starter config, self-hosted, loading premium plugins from the cloud. The DMS starter config is a great starting off point if you're looking to add rich text editing capabilities to your DMS. We put it together based on industry best practices and looking at how hundreds of DMS apps use TinyMCE for their rich text editing. Now, you might be wondering why you'd self-host TinyMCE and then load the premium plugins from the cloud. You might do this in a couple of scenarios. You might already have TinyMCE hosted within your app and you want to start adding premium capabilities, in which case you can just load them from the cloud. Or maybe you're already self-hosting an app and you just want to try out TinyMCE premium plugins. Either way, it's super easy. All right, let's get started. So just for the sake of demonstration, I have a local web server running and I have a self-host.html file here that I'm going to load the starter config into. Okay, so the first step is to head over to tiny.cloud/get-tiny. This is where you're going to download the zip file that you'd use for self-hosting. Click the blue download button and it'll get downloaded to your computer. Extract the zip file and load it into your JavaScript folder within your project. Okay, great. Now we're going to go check out the TinyMCE DMS starter config. So go to tiny.cloud, click Solutions, and then click on DMS. Here you'll see a demo of the starter config, and if you keep scrolling, you'll see the starter config code snippet. We've got it available without code tips and with code tips. The code tips are really helpful if you're getting started with TinyMCE and you want to understand what each config option does and link back to the docs to learn more. So I'm just going to copy that starter config, head over to my HTML file, paste it in there, and the starter config loads TinyMCE by default from the cloud. Right here, I'm going to put in the path to the TinyMCE min JavaScript file instead of the cloud URL. And I'll hit save, and I'll go to reload my page. Okay, so this looks good. It's loading the DMS starter config without the premium plugins, but now we want to add the premium plugins from the cloud. There's a really helpful article that shows you how to do this in our docs, which I'll link to in the description of the video. But the way it works is you load the TinyMCE core library from your self-hosted location, and then you load a plugins file from the cloud. Now, in order to load the plugins file from the cloud, you need a TinyMCE API key. If you haven't already signed up for an account, you can go to tiny.cloud/pricing, choose a plan, and start a free 14-day trial to get access to these premium plugins. Going back to the docs, I'm going to copy this script tag and put it into my app under where I included TinyMCE. Now I'm going to go grab my API key and replace where it says no API key with my unique API key. I'm going to save the document, reload it, and now I've got access to all those premium features that are included in the DMS starter config. Okay, so that's it. Now you're all started with the DMS starter config, self-hosted, and loading premium plugins from the cloud. If you'd like to load premium plugins self-hosted as well, reach out to our sales team and they can set you up with a custom plan to do just that. Okay, so what's next? Head into the starter config, play around with the plugins, the config options in the toolbar to make the starter config fit your app's needs. Of course, you'll also want to learn how to get content and set content in TinyMCE. I'll include a link to this article in the description of the video. If you get stuck or just have any questions, if you're on one of our 14-day free trials or paid plans, you can reach out to our world-class professional support team. Otherwise, you can always check Stack Overflow and post a question in the community. In coming videos, we'll be doing more and more on document management system, rich text editing best practices, so stay tuned. Also, you can check out our blog for tips and tricks with TinyMCE in document management systems. Good luck!